Alright guys, hello and welcome. This video is gonna go over what classes I recommend as a completely new starter player to the critical adventure style games. If you are already an existing player who has previously played critical adventure remake, or any of the other remakes of this type of game, then you should be fine. This video is more targeted to players who want to learn special mechanics, and they want to get an idea of how to build a loadout around a class. If you're here and you really just want to speedrun, or you want to get the best of the best and you don't care about any of the other mechanics, then I do have a few notes that I want to say starting off. A few of the ones that I've seen for early game, like best of the best, is usually Greatsword, Beta Sword, and Katana. People will say a few other ones as well, but usually those ones pop up occasionally. It's gonna be a really difficult and long road for you because you still need the void ticket if you want a void weapon. And that's gonna be pretty difficult, especially if you're starting out, because you need to battle a tier 10 boss. Alright, that's enough of that. Let's take a few steps back. You're a completely new player and the game is filled with a ton of classes. There's boss drops, there's classes from items, and there's classes from events. This video is just gonna go over the basics, the very basics of the basics. Specifically, the classes that I think are the most beneficial to a new player learning mechanics. So for starters, we're gonna go over combo sword, beta sword, bow, gun, and staff. Okay, just from saying that, there might be a few people questioning what I'm thinking. Some of these classes are not gonna be the best of the best, but they're gonna teach you mechanics, and that's the main point of this video. So for starters, let me show what I'm trying to get across. The combo sword is your very first weapon. It is really good. If you want a better version of this, you will go right into the beta sword, which you can get from a chest. The combo sword is a very great weapon to start with because it has a very special and very simple combat mechanic. Every time you hit an orb during combat, you will deal damage. But every time you combo into an orb, you will deal additional damage on top of the damage you are doing. Really straightforward. If you're able to combo a long chain, then you are able to deal even more damage. This is very great because it's a straightforward concept, which allows new players to think about their loadout even more. Players can determine if their skill set is good enough to where they don't need healing, or maybe not as much healing. Maybe they can sacrifice a little bit of healing for mobility so they can chain up even more. And if players actually don't like this combat mechanic, they can just go to a different statue and learn a different process. As for combo sword, you're going to be dumping quite a lot of skill points into damage. But let's say you want to keep a ton of skill points. Well, you can think about your loadout with your passive items. Heart Fruit is one of the best items starting out because it gives you a ton of health and mana at the very start. That means less wasted skill points and more total damage. Combo sword is also really great if you want to go right into Boxer. Boxer has the exact same system. The longer you can combo, the more damage you'll do. The difference between Boxer and combo sword is that Boxer is a little bit more advanced. It's way more friendly to the player in the essence that more orbs spawn, meaning you can combo even longer. Once you get into Boxer, you can realize, hey, I have a lot of orbs here. Why don't I just, dump a little bit more into damage or mess around with my active abilities? Let's get a damage boost. Or hey, there's a ton of orbs spawning. Do I really need this mobility? I'll just dump it into health or damage. The very next class, or set of classes actually, is going to be Gunner and Archer. Both of these classes work very similarly. They have two types of orbs, ammunition and the actual attack. The special orb, specifically ammunition, is very great to new players as they learn that they don't bounce. This is actually pretty critical when you're starting this game because you're familiar with the combo sword most likely, but once you get into ammunition, then it's like, whoa, hold on, I just slipped, I fell into a slime puddle and I'm taking damage, why didn't I bounce? New players are gonna have to think about mobility and health more often now due to these type of orbs not being able to bounce. You're gonna need the mobility and health in case you hit a hazard or if you are trying to avoid more hazards and more attacks. Alternatively, you can also think about running Healing Scroll. For this, you might need a little bit of magic and a little bit of mana to continuously heal during a match. Another special part about ammunition type is that as you increase the ammunition amount, you deal even more damage. This reason is really great because you can think about boosting all of the ammunition that you have collected into one major attack. Gunner is very special compared to Archer because Gunner also inflicts status effects. These status effects can be very beneficial to deal damage over time or to stun an enemy, which I believe one of the status effects does. Learning about the special orbs can be very beneficial right now because if you go into something like Elementalist, then you will already have some knowledge upon these type of orbs. Elementalist is a very fun and unique class because additionally it has orbs that do status effects, but they also do not bounce. Knowing this already, you can have a loadout memorized or known of, and you can swap right into Elementalist if you want really easily. On the topic of status effects, Beta Sword is really good for this reason. Not only do you combo around, but it also inflicts status effects. If you plan to get into something like the newly released Spellbook, this could be interesting to dive into. Spellbook is very unique because it casts spells during a match without you doing much. So seeing these status effects and learning about them, along with getting a loadout to either boost them or to prioritize something while damage over time happens, can be very beneficial. Lastly, we're going to go into staff. The magic staff is going to be very unique to new players. Not only do orbs deal damage, but on top of that, they also inflict a flame above the enemy. As you continue to collect orbs, the flame will grow brighter and brighter, and when it's fully charged, it'll deal additional damage, a huge burst of damage. If you do go into magic staff and you even evolve it further, you're gonna notice the new special type of orbs as well with this route. If you are unaware of these special orbs at starters, then you're gonna be probably confused when collecting these because they don't bounce either. These orbs with the magic staff are actually pretty special. They increase your attack and they increase your mana. Well, specifically, they refill your mana. This is really great for new players because you can think about your loadout a little bit more. If you run something like Heart Fruit, you get 500 mana on top of your 100. So you can just kind of sit around that mark of mana, increase your magic, and you don't have to worry about refilling your mana with a mana regen scroll or with a consumable. You can easily go into mobility if you want to get the orbs even faster, or you can go into even more magic damage. Understanding your class and what it does is really beneficial to new players because you can mess around with the tons of items in the game easier. Going back to Combo Sword and Boxer, if you want another similar class, you can go into Slime. Slime is special because at tier 3, every single orb you hit will bounce you, but it will also heal you. Knowing that a special class can heal and bounce might be really good because you don't have to worry about your health as much, and you don't have to worry about your mobility as much either. You can focus on other aspects of your build. Sometimes the Trello isn't so accurate, and I would honestly recommend you mess around with your class a little bit beforehand. If you simply don't like a class, you can just put it away in storage or swap it out for a different class. The game is filled with classes. I highly recommend checking out different classes and seeing which ones you enjoy and which ones you think you're not really interested in. Hopefully this guide was very beneficial to any new players looking to learn the mechanics or to learn how to strategically set up a loadout with passives and actives. If you want a little bit more information, I'm gonna have the Trello linked in the description, and this way you guys can easily go over there, check out the items, the classes, see which items you might need for later on, see what steps you need to take, and see what enemies you might have to fight. That's gonna be it for this informational guide. I hope it helped a lot. If you have any questions, put a comment down below, and that's gonna be it from me. If you are a new player and you haven't even started yet, I would recommend checking out my new player guide. It'll get you a ton of items really easily and really quickly at the start of the game. This video will be linked in the description as well, and it should have popped up in the top right corner. That's gonna be all for this video. Hopefully I was able to help you, and I will see ya.